Stay tuned and let's build this Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. Today we have come to the end of yet another Marvel Legends wave, and that means it's time to build the Build-A-Figure. And in front of me, if you couldn't tell, it is of course Crimson Dynamo from the Black Widow movie wave. Now, to get all of the pieces that you see on the table, you will need to buy 6 of the figures in this wave of 7. So you need to buy Black Widow, Yana Belova, Red Guardian, Winter Soldier, Crossbones, and everybody's favourite, Spy Master. You don't need to buy Taskmaster as he comes packed with accessories and not a Build-A-Figure piece. But you buy those other 6 figures and you will get all of these figures on the table and you will be able to build Crimson Dynamo. So it's quite self-explanatory. You got 2 legs, you got this back piece which literally goes onto the back like that, I assume. Or maybe not. Maybe I don't assume. That is why it's always best that I do these things off camera. So let's do that now. Let's try and do that off camera instead, because I'm just going to ruin it and make myself look an idiot. Back piece, 2 shoulder pads, legs and arms and a head. What could be so hard? Pow! So there he is, all built up, Crimson Dynamo. Now, as always, I would advise that you heat up the joints first before plugging them in, but the build was quite simple. I was just being an idiot. There are peg holes for the shoulder pads and for the back piece, like you can see there. There's holes, and it's a case of just plugging them in to the correct holes. Nice and easy. So I'm liking the look of this guy. Probably one of my favourites of the wave already. Definitely worth picking up Spy Master for, I tell you that. Some decent sculpt and paint on here. I like the cracked sculpt that I'll show you in a minute, and that Soviet Union star looks like it's glowing even though it's not. Overall, a solid Build-A-Figure with some decent articulation for the size as well. It's just those shoulder pads are obviously going to get in the way a little bit, but it doesn't seem like they do, only if you want to lift his arms past 90, I guess. But yeah, this guy's going to stand out on your shelf. He's like the Russian Iron Man, if you will. One of the many versions of Crimson Dynamo. There have been a few, I believe. But yeah, this guy is looking nice. So let's zoom in and let's check out those details. Taking a closer look, I really like this head sculpt. I like the sort of face plate, and then even if you lift up the head, you can see the wiring underneath the head, and both the head and the neck piece are both on a ball joint, so you've got lots of room for maneuver. Really good range on the head looking up and looking down because of the double ball joint. And again, the glowing from the chest is similar in the eyes, where it's sort of red with an orange sort of glow, and it sort of gives the impression of it glowing, which I really like. And I also like all the cracks that are actually sculpted onto the armor as well. So you can see that all the way up the shoulder pads, all this sculpted detail, and that goes all the way around onto the back as well. And then you've got the sort of booster on the back. But again, all that sculpted cracking on the armour I really like. And as I said, these only hinder articulation if you wanted to go really far up, but I reckon they move out of the way just enough to give you enough range on the arms. And it's like a sort of like Colossus style arms, and then you've got these bolts all the way down. Really like these translucent sort of blue pieces. This is like the fuel of the armour, and then this one has like a crack in it. I'm not too sure if that's specific from a storyline, but there's definitely like a crack in that blue panel piece, which is sculpted in. But yeah, I really like that translucent blue, and that is on both sides. So we get one fisted hand, and again, really nicely sculpted hands, and then one open hand as well. So again, if we really wanted to be picky, it would have been good to get an option of 2 open arms and 2 fisted hands, I guess. But that is just being picky. Again, the body, you've got the chrome effect all the way down onto the legs, and then there's some decent range onto the feet, even though the big metal arms, there's the double jointed knee. So yeah, taking a closer look at this, don't really have a lot of bad things to say. I do think it's a very accurate and a very solid representation of this particular character design for Crimson Dynamo. Even like the exhausty type bits on the shoulder. But yeah, really liking this. All the sculpted detail as well. Maybe some darker wash or maybe dry brushing to bring out some of these sculpted cracks and details would have been good on the brown. But as I said, it is, well, it's more of a maroon, isn't it? But as I said, it's still a very good representation of the character design. Bravo, Hasbro. So jumping straight into some comparisons, and this Mandroid Build-A-Figure from 2014's The Winter Soldier wave definitely springs to mind, as there seems to be some reuse in parts from the hip joints downwards all the way to the feet. It does seem to be the exact same sculpt, but again, it works for the character, and there's enough difference where you're not going to notice on the shelf. As I said, the sculpts are the same, but paint job's completely different, and the whole character design's different, but they are both like mechanical suits of armor, so it makes sense for the reuse. I'm not mad about it at all. The Crimson Dynamo does seem to be a little bit taller, but yeah, overall looks really good, and it makes sense to compare these two, and I didn't notice the comparisons until I had them right next to each other, to be honest. So yeah, looking good. Here we have the Crimson Dynamo compared to the Red Hulk that we've got recently, as he just looks really good no matter who you're standing next to. And he does actually seem to be a little bit shorter than the Hulk, but you could definitely see these two battling away as well. Yeah, looking good. Here we have the Crimson Dynamo compared to the other comic book figures in this wave, with Crossbones, Spymaster, Winter Soldier. Full reviews of all of these figures on the channel right now, and I will be doing a full wave recap and ranking video over on my Vimeo if you want to go and check me out there. But yeah, these are looking very nice together. And then lastly, here we have Crimson Dynamo compared to a framed photo of my very good friend Unparalleled Universe. Make sure you go and follow him on YouTube. So there you have it, Crimson Dynamo. I think I'm very happy with this Build-A-Figure. I think it's a great representation of this particular character design of Crimson Dynamo, as there has been many. Hopefully this leads Hasbro down a path of creating more of that Russian team, the Winter Guard, as I know a lot of people would really love to get their hands on that giant bear, Major I think he's called. That would be a good figure for a Build-A-Figure down the line. But for now, this is a very solid Build-A-Figure. Not a lot wrong for him. I think, as I said, it looks like the character, the articulation for it's great, and I'm sure you will find a place on your shelf for him. So you let me know what you think of this whole wave and this particular Build-A-Figure in the comments below. Are you going to get the whole wave so you can build him, or are you just picking and choosing? Remember, I have reviewed every figure in this wave, so make sure you go and check out the videos tab to check out all my reviews individually. But most importantly, if you want to support the channel, you can do that by hitting that subscribe button. Thank you very much. And as I said, I will be doing a full wave recap and ranking over on Vimeo. So go and find me on there, Dan Who Reviews. But until next time, people, my name is Dan W, and I shall see you on the next one.